I nearly lost everything for a woman. But why? It's a Friday afternoon, and soldiers are parading around the base. The sun is blazing, people chatter everywhere, vehicles rumble from all directions, and, unfortunately, a soldier is being mocked as he marches to jail. Tension builds as some anticipate the weekend off. By this time, it was around 4:30, and the lobbies for freedom echoed at the barracks security post, but I remained in my bed as I had been confined to internal security duties for a month. This was the second week. Inside, I grew frustrated as I started to miss my family and friends, and I was eager to meet up with Anna, a civilian I had met a few weeks ago while on patrol. She was drop-dead gorgeous, with a charm that hit you before you even realized you'd been caught in it. I really like her, even to this day. It was now evening, and the chaos from the day had subsided on base. Only a few of us were left in the barracks. It was like a ghost town. I had already showered and was preparing for bed when my phone suddenly rang. It was Anna. With sheer excitement, I immediately answered. In the most soothing voice, she said,
"I know you're on duty, but can you come over?"
My heart leapt with fear. I paused for a second to consider, because if it were discovered that I was missing, I could have been imprisoned, and I might have lost over a month's pay. The risk was high, but I began planning my daring move. I never owned a personal vehicle at the time, so I always borrowed from my co-worker, Adams. The car had a quarter tank of fuel. I often wondered why he bought the car, if he rarely used it. He never left the base. Adams was a laid-back person, and we were very close. Having secured my means of transport, I waited for the last bugle to sound before sneaking out, which was around 10 p.m. I then began my journey to Old Harbor, where Anna lives, checking my rearview mirror every 3 seconds to ensure I wasn't noticed. Relative to Up Park Camp, I was 40 minutes away, so the moment I drove through the camp gate, I sped off. I was about 5 minutes away from Anna's house when my phone rang. It was Adams. He said,
"Where are you? I need my car to go somewhere."
This was odd, because Adams rarely goes anywhere. I then replied, "I'm in Old Harbor, bro." And to my surprise, he flipped and said,
"You have 10 minutes to return the car."
I responded, "Say less." Then he hung up abruptly. A gut-wrenching feeling came over me. Maybe it was a sign to return to base, but it quickly dissipated when Adams sent a WhatsApp message saying he wasn't leaving and that I could continue my journey. A few minutes later, I arrived at Anna's house, where she was already waiting at her gate in a red, silky dress. The driveway lights made her skin glow. It was as if everything around her blurred, and she was the only thing there. The moment I stepped out of the car and into the driveway, Annie warmly hugged and passionately kissed me. She smelled of expensive lavender with well-made cocoa butter. I wasted no time going inside the house. Upon my entry, I gently pressed her against the wall and resumed the kissing we had started. She slightly pulled away and said,
"Slow down. I'm not going anywhere. Let's have some drinks first."
Reluctantly, I agreed, because her teasing already worked me up. A few bottles of Dragon later, I was ready to be intimate with Anna again, but out of nowhere, my phone rang. This time, it was from Section Commander Jim. He said,
"The Sergeant Major came on the base and is calling for a muster. I don't know where you are, but you need to get here now."
The phone slipped from my hands, and I started sweating bullets. Anna asked,
"What's wrong?"
I responded, "I'm dead," grabbed the car keys, started the car, and floored the gas pedal. I'm certain I broke the sound barrier at some point. My heart sank into my chest as I headed towards the camp, especially when the dozens of texts from Jim kept flooding in. One in particular read,
"Where the hell are you? The parade is forming up."
I kept my foot on the accelerator and fixed my eyes on the motorway. but my tunnel vision caused me to overlook a vital detail: the fuel gauge. The needle was fighting to stay above E. Then suddenly, I ran out of gas. With every fiber of my being, I shouted, "Why?" I was violently shaking, my brain feeling as if it was about to smash against my skull. Having no other option, I frantically told Jim what had happened to the car and that I wouldn't be able to make the parade. Jim responded,
Are you crazy, soldier? You are absent from your place of duty and need to get here now.
He then hung up. At this point, I told myself I would be going to jail for the next month and laboring around camp like a plantation slave forever. I didn't know what else to do because I was almost in the middle of nowhere without money. I sat back in the car, feeling defeated when Anna called. She wanted to know if I was okay and if I had made it back to work in one piece. I set my pride aside and told her everything that was happening. She criticized me for not telling her sooner and sent her brother to meet me on the highway with a bottle of petrol. A few minutes later, he showed up, and I felt relieved when I could move again. Within 15 minutes, I returned to camp, parked, and found it exactly as I had left it, cold, dead, and still, with barely any movement. I was sneaking back to the barracks through the shadows when suddenly I heard a stern voice coming from the barracks entrance. It was Jim. He said,
Soldier, where the hell were you? Do you know how much I sacrificed covering for you?
Before I could reply, Jim said,
Consider yourself lucky. Get out of my face.
I guess I cash in the favor that he owed me. I then hurried to my bed before Jim changed his mind and lay there staring at the ceiling until the sun rose.